Hello, and welcome to Audiobook Theater Live. My name is Jeffrey Kafer, and today I'm going to be reading from Set in Stone by Dakota Willink. This is a contemporary romance that I'll be co-narrating with Lacy Laurel. This is the actual recording session of the audiobook. You'll be able to see my software as it records in the corner of the screen, so you'll be able to see how I handle mistakes, flubs, etc. All audiobook narrators work this way. It's called punch and roll, so sit back and enjoy this little sneak peek into our process. Sasha, I said. I spoke her name in acknowledgement, but by no means was it a greeting or an invitation. I wasn't in the mood to deal with her tonight. Alex, it's good to see you. Her voice grated on my nerves, and I looked past her dismissively. Where's your pretty girlfriend tonight? What was her name again? Christina. My head snapped to look at her. Her dyed hair fell in thin, loose strands over her shoulders, and her face was painted with dark makeup. She was once beautiful, but her beauty had faded over time. Now she looked haggard. My guess was that too many DOMs and possibly too many drugs had hardened her once perfect face. You don't get to speak her name. I will never hear it come from your lips again. Do you understand me? There was an over-amplified edge of dominance to my tone, one that I knew came from being here, in this place. She fixed her gaze on the floor, embodying the perfect submissive response. I raised my eyebrows when she took a step forward and lowered to her knees. Yes, sir, she said. I rolled my eyes. Oh, what the fucking hell. Get off the floor, Sasha. I'm not your damn master. Her hand moved to my thigh, and she chanced to glance up at me. Her eyes burned with need. I recognized the look. She was hungry, desperate to be dominated. However, I also knew her. She didn't crave me, but craved brutality. If she didn't get it from me, she would just move on to the next available dom. She shifted closer to me, her fingers coming dangerously close to my groin. Alex, we were good together. We could be again. I looked away, not feeling a thing for the woman at my feet. She was pathetic, and I wondered how I could have ever been with someone as spineless as her. That was a long time ago, Sasha. A very long time ago. I know what you like. Let me be the one to give it to you, she persisted. I glanced down at the hand that still rested on my lap. Even in my semi-drunk state, I knew I didn't want her. Not at all. But I did want to forget. To escape. She moved to slide into the booth next to me, her leather corset feeling hard and cold against my side. You're in my seat, said a familiar voice. I looked up and saw Christina hovering over the booth. A feeling of disbelief crashed over me, wondering how she tracked me here or how she managed to get through security. She looked beautiful standing there, with her hands on her hips and her eyes flashing. For a moment, it was as if everyone in the club had disappeared. All I could see was Christina. My angel. That thought brought my reality to the forefront. I was the devil and I didn't deserve an angel. I scanned her up and down. Her casual attire was a stark contrast to Sasha's, as well as to every other woman in the place. It was another reminder of how good Christina was. Too good for someone like me. She didn't belong here. I saw her eyes dart down to Sasha's hand. It was still in my lap. Instinctively, I wanted to explain that it wasn't what it looked like. I wanted to tell her that I hadn't touched Sasha, nor did I even want her. My heart constricted from the accusation written plainly on her face. However, I didn't have the energy to explain anything to anyone, even to her. Don't feel. Just let her go. It would be best if I let her make assumptions about the sin. Just let her go. It would be best if I let her make assumptions about the scene before her. It would give her an out for my fucked up life. Christina deserved better than me. The sooner she realized it, the better off she'd be. What are you doing here? I asked coolly, leaning back and draping my arm casually across the back of the booth. I could ask you the same thing, she lashed out, her eyes flashing angrily. I looked over at Sasha. She sat in silence, waiting for my response. She almost looked smug, as if she thought I would choose her over Christina. The idea was almost laughable. She repulsed me. "Get lost, Sasha," I told her. A pang of hurt momentarily shadowed her face, but she quickly recovered and got to her feet. Walking over to Christina, she leaned in and whispered something to her. I didn't know what she said, but Christina's eyes widened until her expression became murderous. Her hands balled into fists as she pulled back to meet Sasha's gaze. For a moment, I thought Christina might actually slap her. She didn't, but she did give her the iciest glare I'd ever seen her give anyone. "You are nothing to him," Christina hissed and jabbed a finger hard into Sasha's shoulder. Then she pivoted and slid into the space next to me where Sasha had vacated. Christina stared hard at Sasha, almost challenging, yet clearly staking her claim. Sasha glared back at her momentarily before laughing cruelly at her own private joke. She sauntered away with her hips swaying melodramatically in her wake. "Well, now that was amusing. I thought I was about to have a catfight on my hands. It could have been fun," I said. My tone was aloof, yet mocking of the situation. "Stop being a bastard and come home, Alex." "I'm not going home," I told her and took a swig from my glass. "You're not yourself, and it's understandable after the day you had. However, I didn't just spend the last 15 minutes being groped and molested for nothing. Come home where it's quiet and we could talk." "And it's being groped and molested for nothing. Come home where it's quiet and we'll talk." My fingers clenched around my glass at her statement, tightening so much that I thought it might shatter in my hands. What does she mean by groped and molested? To think that someone asshole in here thought he had a right to... I looked at her wrist. "Fuck, Christina. You came in here without a bracelet? Are you stupid?" She tilted her chin in defiance, and I could almost visualize the steel rod running down her back. "Not stupid, worried. About you, damn it. I just forgot about the bracelet thing. It doesn't matter, I'm fine. You, on the other hand, are not. We can either go home or work through this, or we can talk it out right here in this..." She paused and waved her arm around angrily, her face grimacing in disgust as she motioned at the surrounding area. "In this fucking club. Take your pick, but I'd prefer to talk anywhere but here." "I already told you, I'm not leaving." She narrowed her eyes and glowered at me. I could almost see the steam furiously billowing from her ears. "Fine," she bit out. "Have it your way. We'll talk here." Christina began to speak, her voice droning on and on amidst the loud music of the club, explaining everything that Justine and Hale told her. I was listening, but yet I wasn't. Her words seemed to fade in and out. Whether it was because my mind was clouded from drink or because I was in denial, I couldn't be sure. I didn't know if I was happy or sad about having the answers I had been in search of for so long. I didn't know what to feel at all about it. I didn't even care that Christina was talking about it so openly and publicly. Rather than respond to anything she was saying, I swallowed the last of my drink and signaled the waitress for another. When she brought it, Christina snatched it from my hand. "No," she snapped. "Give that to me," I ordered harshly. "You're not getting drunk, Alex. I won't let you." "Too late, baby. I'm well on my way." Her chocolate eyes gleamed with unshed tears, but I ignored them and wrestled the drink back from her. Amber liquid sloshed over the side of the glass, coating my hand and dripping onto the table. I looked at her as I slowly licked my fingers clean, eyeing her frostily as I did it. "Why are you doing this?" she whispered. "Because I can. It's who I am." "You really do think you're just like him, don't you? Look at you, trying to prove a point by fulfilling some stupid destiny that you conjured up, sitting here in this club, getting drunk, acting like you're some big bad dominant. Well, I've got news for you. Your behavior right now is anything but dominant. It's weak, Stone. The name's Russo, and it is high time I accept who and what I am." "You're talking nonsense, because you had too much to drink. This isn't you," she denied, shaking her head. "It's not nonsense, it's the truth. You know it as well as I do." I spat out bitterly. "It's time for you to leave. I came here tonight to move on, and there's a whole slew of women out there ready to make me forget." I said it deliberately to hurt her, to make her leave this place. However, I didn't anticipate the rage that boiled up in her, so hot and fast. I didn't even see it coming. In one swift motion, she slapped me square across the face. My cheek stung from where her palm connected with my face, leaving me momentarily stunned. However, I recovered quickly when I saw her hand rise again. I caught her wrist in the air and gripped it tight. "Don't," I growled. "You asked for it." "Do you really think you know me, Christina? You want to go to a quiet place to talk?" I said mockingly. "You don't want me alone in a quiet room. You don't know what I'm capable of, what's inside me, just waiting to come out. Keep pushing me and I will break you." Her obstinate chin tilted upward again. Her eyes were still glazed with tears, but her expression was full of defiance as she stared me down. "I dare you to try." And there you have it. That is a chapter from Set in Stone by Dakota Willink, narrated by myself and Lacy Laurel, coming soon to Audible. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time on Audiobook Theater Live.